परमगुरुभ्यो श्रीमदानन्दतीर्थभगवत्पादाचार्योभ्यो नमो नमः। नारायण परिपूर्ण गुणार्णवाय विश्वोदयस्थितितोलय नियतिप्रताय ज्ञानप्रताय विबुधासुरसौख्य दुःखसत्कारणाय विददाय नमो नमस्ते। यो विप्रलिम्ब विपरीतमतिप्रबोधान् वादानरस्य कृतवान् भुवितत्ववादं सर्वेश्वरो हरिरीति प्रतिपादकं तम् आनन्दतीर्थमुनिवर्यं नमामि। पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनवे सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहैः तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Welcome friends, I think once again for this Kathopanishad session where we are on to the mantra number 1.2.8. So far we have seen the shreyas and prayers and discussed in detail. Now we have come to the portion where the guru's importance in getting the knowledge. We have discussed in detail why without guru it is very difficult to get it, because you will not be able to access what is not invisible, what is not known. Because you will not be able to know any other means, but only through the means of the mystical, the intuition you will be able to know. To get the intuition, you will have to prepare yourself. You will have to get the ambience, your mindset will have to be appropriately brought in, and your focus will have to be continuously brought in. That only a guru can give it. Without guru, because if someone tries to learn it also, what you will learn is you will be finding it out and you will be getting into all sorts of things you will not be able to get. Rather, you will get into all the wrong directions. Most of the things, even when a guru is there, when we are not able to get the information or get the knowledge appropriately, that itself will cause the lot of problems for us. In the sense, first to approach a guru and surrender to him, that itself requires a sort of a vairagya, and that has to come only with the God's grace. All the acharyas, irrespective of the fact, all the great Shankara Bhagavad-pada, Ramanujacharya and Madhvacharya and all, they've all been first, been into the guru, and they have tried themselves, they have validated themselves, they have surrendered themselves, then they have got the knowledge, and then they have worked upon. Finally, when they have got, what they have got is entire intuition. That's why our philosophies are not called philosophies. They are all called darshanas. Darshana in the sense what they have actually were able to get through their vision, because the jnana drishti, because that is intuition. Not that, you are able to get, because all the indriyas, whatever we see and whatever we hear, everything and all, they will all be, because the colored, they are all being, subjective, in the sense they are all being, having some sort of a contaminated with your mindset. See, if you are able to see a crow flying, because what you are seeing, maybe a crow flying, because physical eye, and you think, because why this crow has come, what has come and all. For a poet, he will get into, because how someone could fly into the sky freely, and because how it can go about. The mindset differs. Each one of us have a mindset, and we will not be able to transport our mindset to you and your mindset to us. What the guru does is he brings your mindset to an extent so you are able to see the things appropriately. The biggest challenge in the shreyas and prayers, what we have talked about it, what is the real nature of the things what we are seeing, and what is that we deem to be attributing the quality to that. It's a kaleidoscope. The world is like a kaleidoscope. See, you will not be able to, will not like to see a black and white movie now, because you are so used to the colors, all sorts of colors, you are, even color TV is there, black and white TV, if someone says, no one will be able to see. But whereas the truth is like a black and white. It tells you, because why, because Paramatma is called Hamsa Namaka Paramatma, because the Hamsa will be able to identify water and as well as the milk. And that is only the highest discrimination possible, because we may not be able to do, with our senses and all. That is why, because we Kathopanishad, we said, because don't go by what you see, what you hear and all, because when they said, Shrotrasya Shrotram, Sachuksha Sachuhu, Atimucha dhiraha pratyasman loka amrita bhavanti. When you say whatever you are hearing, is not the right thing what you are hearing, because you will be hearing what you would like to, because what your mind has been conditioned. If someone says, even someone is talking, how much get into your mind is always a subjective thing. Because at that point of time, you are interested, whatever you are interested, you will be able to hear and absorb. Whatever you are not, you will not be going into. That's why, even if you sit in a college days, you remember and find lectures, because our professors have taken so much of time to teach us. But suddenly when you come out, all that look hazy. Is it that, because yes, it all you enjoy it, you sort of appreciate it. And in fact, sometimes you take notes of it also. But when you try to reconstruct what has been said, because you are not able to do, even at the level of college, when our the Guru Sishya relationship, though it is not so formal, it is an informal one. There itself we find. Because when a professor or a lecturer or someone who tries to teach you, when he is teaching, he is giving the gist of more than half a dozen books, more than half a dozen concepts. He brings it and he gives it, everything together. He knows how to give it, so that because of experience, he knows what type of a mentality these people have, what type of conditionalities they have, what type of absorption they have. Based on that, they do it. That's why some teachers are very popular, because they are able to get everything very clear. Some of them, they try, because you've got different type of people and all. That is why the Guru and Shishya's relationship is one-to-one relationship. In those days, it is not like that. Even if 10 Sishyas are there, each one he will assess and each one he will see, how best, to impart. That is why the Guru Sishya relationship is important. Based on that only, Yama is taking so much of a time to give the highest knowledge that is being sought by Nachiketa. So why he has taken so much of a time, to give that particular knowledge and all, because he is testing whether he is prepared. He doesn't want, unless, once he is appropriately sort of having the right mindset, as well as, he has got the ability to grasp, he wants to give it. And once he has understood, he's the right person who is giving it, because as we go about, you will see how he praises and all, how a student should be there, how a guru should be there. Both will be enunciated in this particular Upanishad. So last week, what we said, that's why, that mantra 1.2.7, what we have seen last week is Shravanayapi Bahubiryo na labhyaha, because, it's very difficult to get, one who is able to having a willingness to hear. And having a willingness to hear, even developing an interest. See, for instance, because we all know, because great pravachanas have taken place. Sometimes, we take interest, sometimes we don't. First time you go and it all looks like a mumbo jumbo, they will be quoting, from the scriptures and everything and all. Maybe once you try to find what exactly, because so many people are listening and they say it is that, once you try to take an interest into that, slowly, it will just open up one after the other, they like a onion, because every peel will come out and finally it will give some sort of an idea as to what exactly is being the subject, what we can take advantage of that. Slowly the interest comes. Everyone is not born with all the interest. Everyone doesn't have an ambience, in the family by which, they can get into all these great scriptures and all. It all sometimes, it is self-developed, and sometimes, it is actually you can inculcate yourself. Any new subject, once you get that, you can inculcate and try to find that and all. In fact, once Swamiji was telling, in fact, in one great, in fact, Bandanje Govindacharya was telling, he was giving a lecture somewhere and all, because then people were coming, some of them, it's all beyond our grasp, why should we come? They used to come periodically, some people don't used to come and all. One young girl, because she was just about in the teens or, she was coming, because he was wondering why this girl comes, even the elders, who have not taken the interest in how to come, this girl, and one day she came to him and asked him, because can you show me, because I want to see the God as you are really telling. Because my purpose is I would like to see the God as you are telling myself. I do not want. He said, how do you, because you are such a young girl, why do you want to have, how come you developed the interest? He said, I came to your lecture, first 2 weeks, I just couldn't understand ABC of it. You were telling something, I thought it is. And then I thought, no, let me persist, because if so many people are hearing, and you are also telling, in between, I was able to appreciate one or two words here and there and all. And then she came and almost, she has developed an interest. He said, because she was having more interest and more grasp on his lectures on Upanishad than most of the people who are attending and all. Because it's all as you take interest and all. But to take interest while you take some effort yourself, and you should also have the grace of the God to take interest. Because you have suddenly because like praise something look I have got to go somewhere, and I think let me go and complete by that you are not going to achieve anything, but then that becomes very important at that point of time. So that is where Shravana will be very very difficult to get people who are taking interest in coming for this. Shravantopi bahavo yat viduhu, because even those who want to tell because they won't want to give it they in the best way people can understand how to impart the knowledge. That itself is an art. There are not so many people who got such an interest in the disciples to give the knowledge. They may be very very they may be scholars, they may be knowing everything and all, but you go on talking in a language in which you think you are able to tell, but other person whether he is able to understand or not, that you are not, because one of the greatest quality anyone should have, whether it's a acharya, whether it is a leader, or whether it is a scholar, or even the normal way of life, even a organization chief, whoever it is there, his communication should be very clear, so that it can be understood by everyone. You may be having a lot of problems, you may have complex problem, you may be you may be at a level where what you are solving is nobody's business down the line. They may not even understand what you are doing. But when you are communicating, you should come to that level. You should be trying to feel how you would have been there if you have to listen to that. Okay, once you take that, that is an art. Not everyone is able to do that. There are a lot of scholars because they know so much of a thing, but then they say in a particular language which people are not able to appreciate, because you have to take the lingo, because when you are talking to the young people, you have to talk to their lingo and then take it, and after all, because then you have to make, you have to be feel easy, because don't take, it's a serious subject. Even when a serious subject has to be said, you will have to take what is everyday happening, as a person can understand what he encounters, that has to be said. That is what it is. Shravantopi bahavo and viduhu, that is what we have seen. Aschariyesya vaktaha kushlesya labdaha, because it is very very, it's a wonderful thing if someone is taken interest and comes and listen to that, and ascharyo jnata kushla anusishta, because if someone is able to get the knowledge from such a person, to get such a disciple and to get such a guru, is wonder of wonders, rare of rarer, rarest of rarer. That's what is it. Because Yama is one such guru, Nachiketa is one such disciple. It wants everyone to be like that. Because this is where exactly Upanishad doesn't say, they are not pointing out and all. They say everyone who wants to get the knowledge will have to take, such an interest, develop such an sort of a capacity to absorb. It is a continuous interest only. Capacity to absorb is continuous interest, and try to find yourself. Manana is nothing but reflecting, because it's not that what I am listening, and sometimes you try to find what is that. Does it have a meaning? Does it have any application for us? Once you take that, that will come about. This is exactly it. It's a modern day also. Even we will find everywhere the communication is the greatest sort of a concept in the entire human history, because we were all Stone Age. Stone Age, we didn't have any communication, only symbolic communications we must have had. And subsequently, because when we are called Homo sapiens now, but in between there were homins and Neanderthal, because we might have heard they are all there and all. This time the Nobel Prize has been given to the one, in the medicine. He has done the research on the evolution of the human beings. He says not, now, because even says, because by human sort of by time, by explaining in terms of time, just about 2000 generations before us. See, average you say 100 years, even 20,000 years before that, we were not fully formed Homo sapiens, he says. Homins, because they are not very tall and they had certain qualities and all. There were some parts of the Africa somewhere and all. So he has deducted some of the DNAs, some portion of the DNA is in the modern man also. So they are trying to find, how the medicinal effect could be there and all those things, because that is another way of looking at. But he says, because it's not that, we are all fully developed and we have come, the language has come. Language is one of the, that's why we call even Brahman as Akshara. We will be seeing in Mandukya Upanishad also say Akshara, we have called it. Akshara is, we have got 51 letters in Sanskrit. All the letters represent each name of the Almighty. Not only that, Madhvacharya has gone one step ahead. Every spoken language in the world, welcome Narayan, every spoken language in the world, each letter is representing the power that is giving to us, that is Brahman. It's not only, because now Sanskrit and all. Sanskrit has been taken and explained, by our acharyas and all. It's because every language, through that only. That is why, because even though you have developed a language to communicate, yatho vachaho nivartante, you will not be able to cover the entire Brahman by describing in words, even though you have developed. Because it's developed by us to communicate between each other. So the language is got, the linguistics has a greatest importance, in the philosophy, because linguistic and philosophy go together and all. The linguistic philosophy, without language, unless the language research is done, the philosophical research cannot take place in Western universities. Language and philosophy goes together. Noam Chomsky, because he is the greatest linguist, and he is a philosopher come linguist, and both are there, because that is how, they understand, try to understand, analyze the language. That is why the more matured you are, you talk more simple language. You are able to make it understandable to everyone. And that is why, because even the concept, what they say, when the first letter is there, that is the first letter that represents the beginning. And the last letter in Sanskrit is Ha, because with the three, what they call it Ha, you put a dot on that, Ham, Aha. Aham has come from there, because I is supposed to be the Kashmiri Shaivik Siddhantam. No, there's one Abhinava Gupta is there. He has said an I is the creator, because like Shiva or whoever you call it, Ha is the Shakti. He gets the energy from Shakti. Finally, the beings are created. Aham, when we say, it is, you are the product of, because finally you need two powers to create. So Shiva and Shakti together, finally when it is created, you become an Aham. So Aham in the sense, what Aham? Aham in the sense, it makes you to, it gives you, sort of an identity in this world as a being. But when it is developed too much, when it becomes an alter ego, then it becomes Ahankara. Ahamkara, because Aham is that one. And likewise, whereas Aham, what is being explained in a different way is, because Aham is Aheyam, the one who is inside you, the power inside you. He is able, without him you can't exist. That is Aheyam. Without him I can't be there. That is Aheyam. That's what in fact we have seen in Ishavasya Upanishad also, when we have seen, because, particular mantra, when we have tried to explain, that is what exactly we have said. It is Aheyam. Asmi in the sense, we are able to, he is here, he is sitting here, he is able to feel that we are in, he comes through the prana, that is it. And likewise, Aham, or every being, being the creator, because language has got a greatest, so therefore language is as pristine, pure, as reverential. That's why the Om, the primordial, that letter that which have started from there, the entire, the Purusha Suktam has started there. From there, the Vedas have come, that is why Gayatri, Purusha Suktam, and in the Vedas, that is the order we are. So the language has got a greatest importance in that. So that is why, because to hear as well as to understand that the language, the capacity of the language is, it is God's grace and your own inculcation of your own development of, interest in that. That comes, once you develop the interest, God's grace will slowly come into, it is the first step you will have to take. If at all there is a free will, this is the first step. Rest of it will automatically happen. That is why what we say, Naham Karta, Hari Karta. Because that's what, because if you see basically Vaishnavish, particularly Dvaita, Dvaita is not a right term to use, it is a Tattvavada. So even Advaita is a wrong term to use, it is a Mayavada. Because both they don't represent exactly, Etymologically, they are not representing the philosophy as it is. In fact, Dr. Radhakrishnan has said Advaita should be called non-secondment. It is not a non-duality or a non-secondment. There is no, that is also almost same. The entire philosophy phase, everything comes together. But only thing, where it varies is whether the soul is one or the soul is varieties of the soul, whether there is any difference and all. These are all the philosophical constructs. The philosophical constructs have been made because through the means which you can understand the import of the Veda and Vedanta, that is Upanishad. So that is how this has come, and because every acharya has found a way at that point of time, depending upon the time they were living in, depending upon the attitude of the people, depending upon the the society's, the obligations in the society's duty, how the society was going in a direction. At that point of time, taking that into account, the philosophies have come into being, and they have taken, all the necessary scriptures to reinforce, whatever philosophy they have propounded. That's how these philosophies have come. Therefore, this philosophy is great or that philosophy is great is it's a totally irrelevant. And to understand that, you will not be able to get that experience, darshanas of great acharyas. Though you will not be able to get the experience those darshanas of the great acharyas. For that, you will have to go miles to go. In fact, because in the Viveka Chudamani, I was telling like that, because 1,000 crores of birth, you must have taken. He says, to become, before becoming this human being. So likewise, it's an evolution. It takes place like that. So the Guru and the Shishya importance and how they are going about, that is why, they said, you will have to always, once you get to the Guru, you will have to approach the Guru and try to get the right Guru. That is how you will be able to. Even the Gita says like that, because the 4th chapter, 34th mantra, it says, Tatviti pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Because you have to get pranipatena, once you get a Guru, you will have to be in search of a Guru. In search of a Guru, you go there, and the best, perfect preceptor who is able to impart you, once you are able to do pariprashnena, by, because with your reverence, you ask your doubts. And once you ask the doubt, once you are surrendering himself, once you are so sincere, the Guru only will be too happy to impart you sevaya. And you have got to be, because in those days in Gurukula, you are supposed to be doing because they are all only corollaries. Once you do it, because that's how you become a part of the family of the Guru and able to get the knowledge and all. Upate Pashanti te Jnanam Jnani Nanas Tattvadarshinaha. Tattvadarshinaha, in the sense, one who is a Jnani and Tattvadarshinaha, he is the one who is eligible to be a Guru. You will be able to get that Guru. All these acharyas are Tattvadarshinaha. The Mayavada is there, Visishtadvaita is there, or Tattvavada, as it is being called. It is all darshanas because they have experienced. They have experienced, and that experience they have brought it into the sort of scriptures, because everyone has written the scriptures, like Madhvacharya has written 37 great, because Sarvamula Grantha is written. So is Shankara Bhagavad has written, Sri Bhashyam and so many other things, because he has also written, because the supplementary Granthas are there. These are all basically, they have given the means. It's not that unattainable. Because people used to see only, if you are totally renouncing the world and, you are able to get into all these things, you will be able to. It's not that everyone can get. Everyone has got a right to get it. That is how this Upanishad has been brought, and it has been kept as the biggest treasure, so that it can be always used, because then we can do that. Because how we are getting to them. That's why Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter says, it is not that, because as Shankar Bhagavad said, you have taken 1,000 crore bus before taking the human being. That concept has almost been reflected in Bhagavad Gita in Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Prabhadyate. Because after lot of births only you become. Vasudeva Sarvamati say Mahatma sa Durlabha. Once you come to know Krishnam Bande Jagat Guru is only when you are able to get Krishnam Bande Jagat Guru, that concept when it has to come, it has to take Bahu Janmanam. It's not in one birth. That is the greatest grace God can give to us. So with this, we will be going into the next mantra. Okay, you got the Guru and you are totally interested and you are going to get the knowledge and all. What is it for? Because how that, because how you will be able to get, because how will be able to the knowledge and how it can be imparted. What are all the sort of methods, by which you can get principle of spiritual teaching? Because spiritual teaching, it's not like a college, college has got it's a method of teaching, it's meant for that, it's appropriate for that. But in the spiritual teaching, it is basically, you have to be part of the entire process. This mantra we will see, what is the principle of spiritual teaching, how in those days and even now, the principle remains same. The method, because now we have got the modern gadgets, we have got modern facilitations. It is there. In those days, it was not there. In spite of it, because in those days, since it was not there, more you get, the paraphernalia around you, less is the sincerity. In the sense, you got so many means, you can do it. Whereas in those days, because you didn't have so many facilitations. You have to surrender, you have to be with, and you will have to get that. That gave a right ambience and a right perspective, in which you can learn. The 1.2.8, in which your page number 44, it is there. The mantra says, Na narena avarena prokta eva. See, when you say when you are being taught, by a guru, when he is, because he may be having knowledge and all, but but the person, by quality, when he is having some sort of a inferior, avarena, by an inferior person, by a person of uncultured intellect. See, try to discriminate how, you will be able to get the knowledge. Who can impart the knowledge? You can go to, and whether you will be able to get the knowledge. To ensure that, they say, not by an inferior instructor, because avarena prokta eva. See, he is by a person who studies Vedanta merely to acquire the knowledge and make it as a sort of a transactional deal, because he wants to give, because to make money out of that, or, he wants to have his life, that's all then. He will not be able to that, and he has not, attempted to realization or attempt to have, the God realization himself to get the highest intuition. That is why, one of the words which we have used in the Mundaka Upanishad, Stotriyam Brahmanishtam. The one who has not only gone through the Vedanta and Veda, but once he has rather, following the entire path, he is living that path, he will be able to give that. See, one of the things, why, we have got certain rituals and, because there are certain fixed sort of a fixed way of living, for all the acharyas, be it, whatever stream, because whether Advaita, Mayavada, and whatever, all the acharyas, they have got a particular way. Why it has been kept is, there only they will be able to maintain the Anushtana. In fact, Raghavendra Swami, when he has written so great, all the Upanishad Bhashas, Khandartha he has written, and he has also written, Nyaya Sudha also he has written, and Mahabharata Tatparya Sangraha he has written. He has written so many things and all, but his day was so full. Morning he used to go, get up, take bath, and he has to do 3 times puja. 3 times they are supposed to take bath. And 3 times they have to come and complete the puja, take the tirtha, and then they have to go. And they have a very frugal meals. And after they are supposed to be, because working on the granthas. That is the only period, they write. And then they will have to be interacting with the people and giving him, because of the sort of taking away, if they come with the problem, trying to solve the problem. And because being the mystical Guru himself, he has solved so many people's physical ailments and so many other things he has done and all done. Then he has to night, he has to do the puja, and again he has to come and he used to write the grantha. I think maybe hardly few hours, they might have had that too, because in dhyana only they would have had a sleep. It's almost Sushupta Sthana is nothing like but a samadhi for them. Used to get like all acharyas, great acharyas, whoever was there, they were, because you just imagine how many granthas they have written and how many concepts they have propounded. In the limited, even if they have lived 60, 70, 80 years, because you think, will they be able to do it? They have totally dedicated themselves to that, and they have followed that regimen. See, the regimen is very important, that gives you the discipline. See, we may be questioning, why ritual, because I don't do any ritual. I don't do puja because I know, because I have got the God is inside my heart, because I am just taking care of, He is taking care of me. I am sincere to Him. I am doing, whatever. Absolutely correct. Nana janasya shushushu karma, you are helping a lot of people and that is good enough and all. But then what happens is when you are not able to maintain that because the ritual is not for the purpose of showing to someone else or trying to be be proud that I am doing it, not that. It is your duty. Why it is a duty? When you are doing it, you are just finding the right means and the right method to get the knowledge. It's like going in a boat and crossing a big lake or a ocean. But when you don't do rituals and when you are doing it, you can still do that. It's not that, but then your boat may be leaky. So when when you don't maintain such a discipline, you will be susceptible to so many things, which will come into it. When you maintain a discipline, what is that? Isn't it guides you? And the intuition of a right, the intuition comes asking you to sort of don't do certain things. It gives do's and don'ts are being advised to you by intuition. But when you are spending even whatever 10 minutes or 15 minutes, for your Sandhya Vandanam or puja and all, whatever you are doing, when you are doing sincerely and surrendering, yourself to that, it gives you the right mode of getting the knowledge without any hitch. Otherwise, it could be a leaky boat. Leaky boat in the sense is something, may flow here, sometimes, you take, you will not be able to hold on steadfastly, onto your intuition that comes about and all. It will always, be taking you here and there and all. Because like praise and praise and it will come and go. It's not bad, you are into this world, you learn to be that. But these are all things helps. Even because whoever may be a Christian, they attend the mass on Sunday. That gives them a discipline. Even that 1 hour they go or 40 minutes they go and listen to something, they come. At least they get charged, like a mobile gets charged, every day, and you have to get charged. All these rituals are only to get charged. It's not that by not doing that, because God doesn't, He's not going to be deprived of if you're not going to give a small prasadam and all. He's not bothered. It is for yourself you are doing it. Whatever you are doing is, because for our own sake. Puja is not for the God. It is for our own elevation to keep ourselves into the moorings so that, don't get vacillate here and there. You are able to maintain the course. When you have to cross the, samsara or whatever they call it, the ocean or lake, whatever it is, you will be able to maintain the course. That is what Narena Varena Prokta Eva, because that's why, you will have to get the one, who is uncultured intellect and who is, you may be knowing the knowledge, but, he is not, using it for the purpose, for which it should be used, nor he has attained in Stotrium Brahmanishtam. He himself has not attained that. How he can complete? That's why, when you go to astrologer, he says, you can do so many things and all. Has he solved this problem? Let me go to one particular instance here. In Triplicate, I think Kesavan must be knowing one very great astrologer was there. He's a doctor and all. He was I know, because he used to be very sort of very difficult to get appointment, and he was telling everything. And once, I had come, I was coming for some work in Chennai, and someone had come from Delhi. He wanted to go to him and meet him only. He was charging heavily and all. I was wondering that whatever that he says, I would also say, but I will not. Because like that, I thought, because I didn't have a great belief, not that I was not bothered with this astrology. And though I was knowing a little bit here and hearing and all, it's okay, because, but finally it's your effort and your own way of living only is going to help everything. Finally, one day it came in the paper, he committed suicide. The astrologer who is capable of solving so many problems for which people are coming, even far off places, even foreign countries, to get the appointment. The guy finally, because he committed suicide, but that means he is not able to hold himself. That is what avarena, what they call nare avarena. Because when you don't believe in that, you are doing it. That's why you should not be taken away by because Chinmayananda used to say, don't go by the length of the bird, the whiteness, how grey it is, and the headgear, what is facing and one is wearing, and how he is maintaining a paraphernalia. It's not that because it's finally the one who has realized, one who will be able to give it. So that is where it matters, and so you go to that type of a guru. Swigneyo bahuta chintaya manaha. Suvigneya, able to understand completely, well understood, easy to talk to and easy to make you understand completely, because Bahuda, full of many qualities. See, he should be able, Bahuda in the sense, God is so much a God in the sense, when you explain a God, the one we have not seen, we are trying only to, what God has been described in entire Sanatana Dharma, Satchit Anantam Anantam Brahma. Satchit Anantam Brahma, that's what it is in Satchit Anantam Brahma. Sat, is highest truth. And the truth, because Satchit, because finally he is the one who gives you the Chetana. And the Chetana, he is the Chetana, he's got the fullness of entire plenitude of knowledge. Anantam, the bliss is always Anantam. He is the Brahma. Satchit, because all the, any stream, because Advaita, Advaita, finally it is that. This is what Upanishad says. It cannot be anything else other than that. When Satchit Anantam Brahma, he has got too many qualities. You will not be able to confine him into words. Yatho vacho nivartante, because it will not be able to go off. So therefore, you will not be able to confine him into the words, but language is necessary to explain the knowledge to you. So that is where, where the Guru, by explaining, he creates the vibration into you so that, by doing the Shravana, Manana, Nitidhyasana, you are able to develop an intuition and try to get the highest godly qualities. How, if it is Sachin Anantam, Anantam Brahma, how you have to do? We have seen in Ishavasya opinion, Sabargaya, Chukram, Akayam, Abranam, Asnaviram, Suddham, Apapaviddam. Sabargaya, Chukram, because he is blemishless and he doesn't have anything of, because there is no sorrow in the sense, Chukram in the sense, without any sort of a sorrow or without any sort of a wrangling, nothing, because full of bliss. Kayam, he doesn't have a body like us. So you can't say, because why Nirguna Brahman and all this, because they say Akayam in the sense he doesn't have a body, then he doesn't. No, he is a Guna Paripurna. He has got all the greatest qualities, what you can think, which is the highest. He is full of that quality. That Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita. Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham, Sasvatam, Divyam, Adidevam, Ajambimam. Yes, everyone, because his level is different, because unattainable. Sarvagam Paramatman, Sarvam cha Paramatmani. So this is what the concept is. Everything is the entire the whole Vyapta is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. So he is that one. You will not be able to confine anything and all. But the Guru trying to tell you the words and create the vibration in you. That's why it is called Shruti. Ours is not because it's not a textbook, where it has been taught, because you just read it and you read with him and all. You read and go and ask him the questions and all. Shruti, when he takes, you get it. And get it, the full-fledged attention. When you are getting it, you are transcending, because you are getting beyond, because your intellect will not come into the play. That we will see now. Even however great intellect, smart you may be, it will not help in absorbing the spiritual knowledge. This has to be understood. He might be, he made me a Nobel laureate also, unless he comes and because surrenders himself and get into the humility at most, when you set yourself to reset to a zero level, and because he has to unlearn everything, you will be coming with a lot of phobias, ideas. It has been said like that. Christianity says like that. Zoroastrian says like that. The philosopher says like that. Other religion says like that. You come with a lot of things. All those declogging has to be done. You will be clogged with so many things. And you got to, because everyone comes and there is a fascinating ideas that comes, there is some instances are being quoted and this happened and all those things are there. That's why once you are steadfast, our scriptures, because in Sanatana Dharma, you will be able to get the highest knowledge is possible only in the Sanatana Dharma. Nowhere else you will get it. It encompasses all the knowledge and it has every differential ideas in this. Like for instance, we ourselves have got three streams, where, people are trying to find, because ours is this, yours is this and all. Why say, my philosophy, this, how do you know your philosophy? Because you have been born to the family who are following a particular philosophy. They have told. Because I have been born into this family of this philosophy, that philosophy is great. That's not, that is how, people do try to, that is not the one, because finally you should have the open mind to get all the ideas from everywhere, irrespective of the philosophy or anything like that. Get the highest level of evolution to yourself, transcending your body, mind and intellect. This has been beautifully said by Madhvacharya in one of his granthas. Dhaulabhasya, what he says is, because Dharlabham Shuddha Buddhina. Dharlabhasya Shuddha Buddhina. Shuddha Buddhi in the sense, Shuddha in the sense, the Sanskrit word is without any stain, without any bias, without any sort of having your own agenda under the pure, pristine pure. You are open enough to understand and go through the idea. He has done that. Finally, Tattvavada, when he has been brought about, that is what it is, because the others, those who have written, even the Dasgupta, S.N. Dasgupta, who has written a monumental work on the Indian philosophy, says this is what all acharyas have done. Not only he, everyone has done. Why they were able to get darshana, others are not able to get darshana? It is Dhorlabam Sutta Buddhinam Bahutam Alpavedinam. Alpavedinam in the sense you might not be knowing Veda. In the sense you might be knowing Vedas, Upanishads and all, but you have not, gone to the intuition and got it such a high level. You have not gone into that. Alpavedinam. Durgrahat, Grahadatsya, Samaya Sada. It is always there. Therefore, it is not. That is why all the acharyas, when they have been writing the bhashyas and all, they were all trying to write the bhashyas with appropriate, because the scriptural quote, where it is relevant, and they have brought about it. So if scriptural quote is, we have already said, because our Upanishad gives the variety of interpretation, Kanishtaha Trayartha. It gives three meanings. Whatever you look for, it gives you. Whether the world is, everyone is same, and whether the God is the one, same, he himself has incarnated as the Prakriti and all. If you ask the question, it answers. And when you say whether God and the Atma, the person, they are different, but finally they will have a equal potential, equally, they will be having the bliss, then that also it answers. The first one comes to Advaita, second one comes to Visishta Advaita. Third one, there is always a difference between every being. And God is Sarvatantra Swatantra, and he is something different, independent. Others are dependent on him. When it is, that also answers. Then, if you can't say, because how come, all others have got a gospel and scriptures, it answers only one, and Upanishad is Guhya. You'll have to get into the secret. In fact, in one for particular few verses, there are 100 meanings. Vyasatirtha has brought 64 meanings for certain verses in the Vedas and Upanishad. They have got so much of etymological interpretation. That means you will have to analyze, understand all the possibilities, that is permutation, combination that will be coming out in the world, and try to propound and absorb the philosophy which is exactly good for you to evolve. Not that you are going to be there and you are going to be in a particular faith, this and that. It's not that. Even Christianity is Zoroastrian, Islamic, whatever it is there. Once you are evolving yourself, that is the final purpose. So Dhaurlabhyat Shuddha Buddhina, you should be able to get that. Bahulyat Alpavedina, that is what he said, because that is Samaya Sada. It has been there for time immemorial. There is nothing to be bothered about. This is what he said. So taking that into account only, for instance, in Sanatana Dharma, a lot of, because the other philosophy have come out after being, everyone had examined the philosophy, that's why, it has come like. For instance, Sikhism. Guru Nanak, he went to Rishikesh and Haridwar and all, he went there. He was a very, very saintly person, right from the young age. He must have read his biography and all. He used to give whatever money or whatever he used to have distributed to the beggars, this and that and all. He was a divine person right from the beginning, birth itself. He must have been one of the greatest soul, who have come into the world. When we went to Rishikesh and all, because people were doing, the pindas, there was offering pinda to the Pitrus, and it was all good. He asked someone, who is going, what is that you are doing? He said, because we are offering to our forefathers. Finally, it goes to them. Then what he said, if that is the case, I am from Kartarpur. Kartarpur, you might have heard, it is in Pakistan now. That is a place, where Guru Nanak, was supposed to have born. It is the great Gurudwara is there. If that is the case, let me take some handful of water from the Ganges and throw it Let it go and feed my field in Kartarpur. See, he asked a question. It's not that he didn't have any reverence and all. He wanted to know the meaning and purpose of it. Unfortunately, our present problem is we are doing so many things for which we have not been told why we are doing it, and no one has told us what is the meaning behind all these things. Some of the things we are, because my father has done it, so I am doing it. My grandfather has done it, I am doing it. But when you try to find why you are doing it, and once you get the meaning of that, you will be totally be because doing it so perfectly. Unfortunately, because we don't have that system by which we can know why we are doing it and for what we are doing it and what is the meaning of all these things. We may be reciting the mantra. Once we know what is the meaning of the mantra, why it is being said that and all, then you will be able to appreciate. So it is basically, because when the ignorance is bliss, that's what is going about. Because of the ignorance, we can question anything. Tarka, logic. You tell me why it is like that, why it is like that. You can't tell me, I myself don't know most of the things. I'm trying to unravel, no, then I find it, so much of a great pearls of wisdom is there, nuggets of gold is there, and diamonds and other things are there. We have missed all these things because now the God's grace has come, we are able to find out. Even because, for instance, still, because I'm trying to ravel, so many things, unravel so many things to find out and why it is that when I get that, because the type of, the happiness, the bliss, what you get, because it is immeasurable. Why, because we have been doing that, it is so great a thing, because I'm trying to find out. So that is how, because even a mantras, I was, in fact, sharing, few weeks before, because my grandfather has given me one mantra. I was trying to find in Valmiki, it is on Rama's birth, and I was trying to find in Valmiki Ramayana, that Ramayana, and all those Ramayana, I was not able to get it. Finally, it was in Champu Ramayana. See, he got that, and but Champu Ramayana is again, because it's Kalidasa and Bhoja Maharaja. The verses are written by Kalidasa, and the prose was written by Bhoja Maharaja. And it was a wonderful piece of literature as well as the classic, in even scriptural terms. When you get that, because you get, because look, he has given such a great thing, because I just asked him, he gave it. I think it was God's grace, he gave it to me. And after 50 years, I tried to find from where it has been given to me and all. When you get that, it's like that, you meet, after so many times, you have been given some wonderful fruit. Now you try to relish, and you have relished all this while without knowing what it is. So whatever we are doing is like that. Without understanding when we do, it is like that. Once we try to know the meaning, why we are doing it, because someone is able to tell. Okay, now at least we have faith and we have got sincerity. We have seen, others are telling, at least we will do whatever purpose. It's something good will happen. That is a plain faith. It is better to go with that and we are going there. The problem arises when the youngsters ask, why I am doing it? Why are you doing this? And why are you wasting the time? They may ask also. You tell us, why should I do it? Even if you advise, you do it, this is good and all. Maybe I think they may not question, out of respect for you and all. They will be asking internally, I think, what is that, they are telling anyway, let's not hurt his feeling, let us do. That's what is happening. But once they know, once, we are able to tell, because why it is so, this is where, the entire Upanishad, this is what exactly said. Without meaning, without purpose, without understanding, Svigyeyo Bahuta Chintaya Manaha. See, once he gives that, then you will be able to, once you get, one spark, once you, I'm doing this, this is what, why I am telling Purusha Suktam Mandal. Purusha Suktam has got not only describing the God, it is describing and it taking you, it tells everything about you as a part of the entire system he has created, how you can get the grace in every moment of it. That is what Purusha Suktam says. The Purusha Suktam, Sri Suktam and all, when they are telling, it's not only the glorifying God, it is also getting you elevated along with, because it has got an inner meaning of that. Because once we understand that, we will say, because otherwise, someone has taught him, he is doing it and all. Okay. Otherwise, you try to find and recite, and even without knowing the meaning, if you are able to get some happiness, do that. That, automatically comes. Sadhyo Mukti, as we said, without knowing that suddenly you get the feeling, yes, when I recited, it happened. So I got the feeling, some energy I got it. So I was able to get through, because I was just, lying low, because when I recited something happens, it happens. So at least we can do that, but at the same time, we can try to understand, because most of the things we are trying to do is, let me, I have planned something, on these things also, because Vishnu Sahasranamam I started. I've stopped, and I think certainly I'm trying to do something like that, and because a lot of people are telling, we can hear everyone and all, everyone is trying to bring the nuggets of that and all. And that is what, we should know what we are doing, and the one who is able to tell why we are doing what we are doing, he is Suvigneya. Bahuta Chintaya Manaha. Ananya Prokta Gatiratri Nasti. Ananya Prokta. Other than that, if someone tells you Gatiratra Nasti, because he will not be able to get the right knowledge. Not from Ananya. Ananya, the one who is knowing everything, he is able to get this entire thing. See, Ananya Prokta Gatiratta Nasti is one of the words which all the three acharyas have given. Ananya Prokta, not another taught a teacher who does not see anything sort of a mystical in this, he will not be able to impart. The mysticism is something you are able to experience yourself. When a child smiles at you, that is a mystic. How, because whatever may be your state of mind, totally, you just get, the bloom out of your mind blooms, you are able to, the emotions, get into a different direction. Unknown child, even the child, in the airport or railway station, you see, child, it talks, its own language. It's an ununderstandable language. It mumbles, jumbles, and everything and all. Even that gives you something. It is like that. The mystic power, which is within us, when you are able to understand the mysticism in you, that is the intuition that gives you, you don't see everything only physically. Unfortunately, because of in the physical world, we go everything by our experience with the person, the purpose, or the product. That's what we are telling. So once you go beyond that, that mystic power that takes you, that is what Ananya Prokta Gatiratra Nasti. This is what all the acharyas have taken in a very elaborately. But here we will not go into, because it's a too philosophical discussion, and it's a dialogue between all the acharyas. You can say like that. See, Shankara says, one who does not see, another one, the one who is well versed in agamas, sastras. If he says it's good, but if he doesn't, know that, agama sastra, once he has understood and known, means he would have evolved himself. He would have known it. So without that, you will not be able to know. And other one is, because not different from Ananya, not from other than one who doesn't know, the difference he will not be able to see. And basically the Acharya have said, you should know what is the Atman, whether it is a self, as they call it, in the Mayavada, Advaita, or whether it is a Brahman and, we are the other one, because Brahman and self, they are different. Brahman is Paramatma, and, because the self is Jivatma. So how Jivatma and Paramatma can be combined together, if we know that, that is the difference between that. How Jivatma, Paramatma can be, finally, as we have said last week, because as the five fingers, when we say, it is avidya, kama, karma. Avidya is, we come into this world, experience everything, but our understanding is conditioned by our experience, our mindset, and our attitude. That is avidya. That means we have not understood the world correctly, still we will have to understood. It is a continuous process. For instance, in those days, in the cigarette box, there used to be a silver paper, silver colored paper, cigarette used to be packed in it. It's a silver foil, the aluminium foil, but people used to call it silver paper. It's neither silver nor paper. It appears silver and it appears as a paper, but finally it is an aluminium foil. The real thing is aluminium foil. If someone says it is aluminium foil, people may not be able to. It is a silver paper. It's like that. What you see, what you understand is different from what it is. To know what exactly it is the one knowledge we will have to get into this world. That is one can be given only by the one who is well versed in this. This is what has been said by that. And coming to other than that, he can't do that. And finally, it is in Aniyan Hita Tatkayam Anupramanat. Aniyan, because Aniyan in the sense, because the Jivatma and whatever the soul, self or Atma it is a very subtle. Aniyan, it is like less than an atom. So sort of a subtle thing. Aniyan, Hita, Haniyan, Tarkayam Anupramanat. So it is like atom. To make it understandable, you should have the knowledge to know such a minutest thing with so much of full-fledged attention to know that. Anupramanat. The subtle of the subtlest. The Jivatma is the subtlest and the Paramatma is subtle of the subtlest of the subtlest. To understand that, you should know. So that quality of what is Jivatma and Paramatma, what is inside, how the intuition is going to help you in knowing that, that is what it is going to help. See, for instance, this year, Nobel laureate, in economics, three people. One is Ben Bernanke, who was the former federal chief, and another one is the Diamond, Douglas Diamond, one professor was there, and another person is Dubik. Three people got it under. All of them have done research in 1983. If you see the title of the research, you will be wondering why they have got it for this. It is the role of banks in economy. This is a fundamental thing and everyone knows, but they have gone into the very great analysis of, because how, the banks are sort of fulcrum, because they are not a cog in the wheel, they are a fulcrum of the economy. How they, because Great Depression that has taken place in 1930 and all, they have all explained. The two professors, the Diamond, the Douglas Diamond and Dibwig, when they were interviewed, they said, because how come, you have, they have written a paper in 1983 and all, for that only, it has been recognized the Nobel Prizes, they've gone. They've survived all this while to get their Nobel Prize. And at that point of time, when he said, they had a professor in Steve Ross. He was supposed to be a professor in MIT, Boston. He used to be a professor. Both of them, the Douglas Diamond and Dibwig, both of them were doing research under him. So what they did, even after they completed the research, they were all doing independently, they were all professors elsewhere and all. They used to go and meet him once in a while. But the Steve Ross was a very, very highly accomplished and reputed professor. He never can give time, the appointment he can't give. Both of them used to wait outside his room for hours, it seems. Finally, he used to give, because he was also, because so engaged, he had got so much of responsibilities. Finally, when he used to talk to them, he talked to them, and then, when they used to feel whether we can do this or whether, he used to encourage them and give them the ideas. Both of them attributed their entire final accomplishment to that professor, Steve Ross, and who was always a busy man, who couldn't give any time. Despite that, whatever few seconds, minutes he has given to them, that was one, which they were savoring, because that is the one fundamental thing, that helped us to go by that, give further research into that and bring all our ideas together. That's what they were mentioning. That shows, what the concept of guru, it's not then, even now, how important it is. So many people, they say, because we have all got the right mentors, the Nobel Prize laureates, you could say. Right mentors, not only that, they never discourage, when they were being, all others were looking at what these people are wasting the time and all. This is what has happened. Like one, who is able to encourage and who is able to give and who is able to give the differential, they should be able to understand. You should not be dissipating your time onto the unwanted things, as well as you should be able to productively focus on to the right things. This is exactly the Guru's qualities. It is not only true in then, and it's also true now, as had been initiated by these Nobel laureates also. This is what this mantra said. I wanted to complete the next mantra also. Somehow I have been stuck with this. Here one word, Ananya Prokti Gatiratra Asti is the one word. It is a sort of a one sentence, and it is a sort of one adage. It is sort of a Upanishadic concept, one of the highest Upanishadic concept. I will have to explain little more detail with the point of view of all the three acharyas. Next week I will do it, and today I will try to complete this session. Sahana Vavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahaihi, तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विश्विदावहैः Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today we will be having a wonderful suktam on meditation. We will go for that. This is one throwing light into us and removing all the darkness. It is the Agni Suktam from the famous Rig Veda, and we will be having it. We will do the meditation immediately. I will just put. Thank you.